My name is Vivek, as I was briefly introduced, and today I would be talking about, the title we said, driving business innovation with quantum and AI. So quantum has this, just like the previous speaker talked about. I was in a meeting in Silicon Valley about a couple of months ago with David Patterson, the gentleman from Berkeley, who started Risk, right? So I asked him, what do you think about quantum? And he said, look, Vivek, I mean, he's Alan Turing Award winner, a big shot. He said, my shot in quantum is like it's fusion. It started in 1960, we're in 2023. Now, it could happen in the next 3 years, but it could take another 20 years, who knows? I mean, there are a couple of things, fundamental innovations that need to be resolved for quantum to make sense to the business world. But there are things that we can do today, and that's what we're going to talk about. So I'll talk briefly, first of all, UK and Japan, from a Fujitsu lens, are very closely tied. There was a Hiroshima Accord last month where the two prime ministers met, and they talked about partnering in technology and innovation. We are tied down in defense, the new fifth generation strike aircraft. That takes a partnership between Japan, UK, and Italy. I think that's going to offer us tremendous opportunity for further collaboration. So again, huge partnership between the two countries. For Fujitsu, as our CEO, Tokita-san says, look, Fujitsu is rooted as a company that's rooted in technology. Innovation is the bloodline for us, but it is about how do you deliver that innovation to our customers, right? We want to build, Fujitsu has a long history. I mean, we have customers that are 50 years doing business with us for more than 50 years. So trust becomes very important for us. And we are, sustainability is extremely important from a Fujitsu purpose perspective, what we do in some of the technology investments that we make. And what we want to do is, we are not trying to sell widgets. We are not trying to bring widgets to the market. So it's not like bringing quantum hardware to you. It is our go-to-market. What we want to do is through UVAS, which brings solutions, ties down the Fujitsu capabilities, our IP, third-party IPs, partnering with our, lot of valuable partners like Microsoft, ServiceNow, and bringing complete solutions to the customers. And this is propelled by the 5 key technologies that we've invested in, which is compute, networks, artificial intelligence, data and security, and the converging technologies with human, social, digital twins. And that's kind of a very simple story, because it's all about data. So you process mega amounts of data, you transport that data, you get intelligence out of that data, you make sure that data is secure, and then you have human beings touch that data. So today we'll talk about 2 areas, right? First is quantum, which is obviously the most important discussion for today, but also how do you leverage the advances on quantum here today, not wait for the promised land 5, 10 years later. So let me just share with you our development strategy. It's not a very complicated strategy. We are not just focusing on developing a piece of hardware. We are focusing on developing end-to-end solutions, which starts from the hardware stack, but building on top of that middleware, building on top of that applications. And quantum is an evolving field, right? So if you look at, we are investing in different kinds of technology, superconducting quantum, obviously, and we've announced innovations. I'll show you the roadmap pretty shortly. We are working with our colleagues in Holland, in Delft University, which are the world leader in diamond spin, as well as cold atom technology for quantum. On software, we are focused on quantum algorithms. Very important quantum is error correction, right? You have people saying, okay, I did it, 100 qubit or 200 qubit or whatever the number of qubits. It's not just about qubits. You got to have logical qubits that stay stable, right? And for that, error corrections becomes very, very important. It's much better to have a 64-qubit machine which is completely stable with 64 qubits that are logically working together rather than 1,000 physical qubits that are not stable and that don't stay together for a long time, right? And then it's the real cases about quantum computer, right? So quantum still is, you don't have a quantum computer that can be used in real practical applications today. But you have, what we'll show you shortly is quantum simulators. That obviously won't get you everything that quantum computer does, but can get you a lot closer to what you need to do. And there are companies that are actually using it today. Our chipset that we actually demonstrated, we showed to the world last month at the G7 summit as well. It's a 3D contact structure. So what that 3D contact structure does is it allows you to scale theoretically infinitely. So if you're doing it horizontally with a lot of contact, then there is the cross tail between the different chips is very high, right? So this I think is very important that you need to understand. It leads to noise reduction, and it also means more. I think as we develop our quantum chipset and our quantum computer modules, this becomes very important. This is developed in joint conjunction with RIKEN in terms of superconducting quantum. So let me show you the roadmap that we are working on. So we demonstrated the 36-qubit quantum simulator last year. This was the fastest quantum simulator in the world. The way we achieved it was we used the chipset of A64FX, which powers Fugaku, right now in top 500 number 2, Graph 500 number 1, worldwide. And we use that with the quantum software, with a piece of software that we developed in conjunction with a couple of universities and ported that on, right? We further extended that to a 39-qubit, and we'll probably have a 40-qubit this year, but that'll probably be the limit because every qubit you add, it doubles the machine size, right? Last in March, RIKEN announced the 64-qubit quantum computer. Fujitsu will release its first quantum qubit, first 64-qubit quantum computer in September of this year, followed by 256-qubit and then 1,000-qubit, right? But it is also the goal, as I said in the previous page, is not just releasing these boxes, but getting the software code that works on it, error correction, and most importantly, the applications that work on this, right? I want to show you, share with you the real case example. And I understand this is the first quantum installation in Europe. So this was done in Sesga in Spain. And it's a good example of why Fujitsu was chosen. It takes Fujitsu's expertise in this space, but it also leverages on our capabilities on system integration, right? So Sesga, along with Barcelona Supercomputing Center, is a premier organization in Spain. It used 32-qubit quantum gate computer, and then as it says, 34-qubit quantum emulator that is based on FX700, FX1000 technology from Fujitsu, which is ARM-based. Fujitsu is deeply committed to ARM, by the way. Our processing work, our processors on Fugaku use ARM A64FX. The Monaka processor is 2 nanometer, which is also ARM-based. It will be the first 2 nanometer processor worldwide. And it also uses Fujitsu digital annealer. But Sesga is going to use that for different applications in the community, in the part of Spain they are in healthcare, for example, right? So because it sits in this research institution, I think that they are able to do this closely with government in piloting some I guess, new cases. They're also looking at doing quantum networks, including the security part of it. And by the way, on this one, we've also worked closely with the company here, Oxford Quantum Circuits. which is a UK-based company. So together with our partners, we won this business. I also want to posit to you, right? So quantum and AI. Obviously, the quantum machine is not there yet, neither in superconducting quantum, nor in diamond spin or cold atom or ion trap to the scale that you can actually start doing real issues or solving like a traveling salesman problem. Right? A traveling salesman problem can only be really resolved to its full extent on a quantum, but you can get pretty close, as I will show you, right? So we are doing some work very closely with BSC and Fujitsu in Spain. The example below is a bank in Germany, and it uses our annealing technology. So what they had was, they had 600 parameters, and they wanted to optimize that. That takes a lot of time. So we use the annealing technology to get that down to 10 without any deviation in results. And that reduced the time significantly for the bank. And this is used in loan, in sanctioning, or approving a loan or not approving a loan. So this is a real practical application here, right? So what we used was a tensor-based artificial intelligence running a digital annealer to resolve this. I also want to introduce you to our AI platform, which we introduced, launched worldwide and in Spain for a worldwide launch when I was there for Activate Now, as well as in Japan simultaneously in April. So we've been working on artificial intelligence for a long time. And our capability, why everybody under the sun right now is talking about AI, but our capability is in 3 areas, which I'll talk shortly. It's really about human sensing AI. It's about explainable AI, and it's about cause and effect AI. And then you componentize it to bring those components together to do exactly what I say in the middle, like workflow analysis or product defect analysis in a shop floor, in a manufacturing situation, or a retail store where you're trying to reduce pilferage or automated checkouts. So I won't go into a lot of detail here, but this is a platform that's available that we're now, I think we've got a very, very good response from the customers. And it's not about, as I say, how do you position it? We work with third-party, obviously, artificial intelligence tools like Palantir, like C3 AI, like Snow, OpenAI, as well as platform works like NVIDIA. And it is, as I said, it is componentized. Not one single company is going to own every part of the IP worldwide. It is going to be, in different industries, different players are going to dominate. So our vision is we provide the platform, and based on that platform, based on different componentized parts that you also bring in from third party, you can build in solutions for your customers to address their business needs. There's a huge, huge market opportunity in AI for everybody, and I think it's not about competition alone, it's about co-opetition, how you work with partners in delivering this. By the way, in terms of IP, we do have, we are #1 in Japan in the number of patents we have in the particular field that we dominate in AI. From our perspective, this is just an example of what I'm talking about is in the shop floor, you can use the camera footage. And these are live cameras, live feeds. You can watch this demo live in one of our booths here. Is you get the live feed, and you can analyze this instantaneously on the spot to the worker's movement to say, look, this is how you can improve the productivity on the floor. This is what is causing the defect in the product, and this is the potential solution. So these are a couple of areas that I think would become very, very important as we go forward. Now, from our perspective, I talked about quantum simulators. And you can use, I think quantum simulators become very important in trying to solve some of the problems that takes a lot of time with traditional compute, like molecular analysis. okay, or work in, for example, semiconductors. We introduced the quantum simulator. I talked about 36 qubit, 39 qubit. Given the speed of this, the way we did it was we started working with the customers. So Fujifilm is a customer that does, it's a very well-known company in the area of molecular and synthetic compounds, and they're the world leader in this. Think about Kodak and Fujifilm. Kodak went out of business. Fujifilm is a very successful company, and they had this very pressing problem on how they look at new compounds, which they use in a lot of different areas. For example, even in cosmetics. And they're using this to evaluate this. Tokyo Electron is similarly material science joint research with us, with Fujitsu in this particular area. So to me, I think the goal at this point in time is how do we take what we're doing, not wait for the quantum machine to be ready and stable, because that could be, there's some fundamental problems like cooling technologies, stability of the qubits, the crosstalk between different chipsets. You can use the quantum simulator today with some of the artificial intelligence technologies to resolve the problems today in different areas. So I will close this by saying again, for us, we are not trying to solve every technical problem, but the key areas that we are focused on that align with our vision, that align with a strategy, that can help deliver actual real customer outcomes today is what we are focused on, and these are all kind of connected. You think about artificial intelligence, which everybody talks about today. You cannot run big artificial intelligence algorithms without having very strong compute and very strong network. They are very, very essential for both of these. Both of these are very essential for AI. And Fujitsu has that for you, right? In 5G, 6G, in the compute area, in data security. So we are, for us, while we continue fundamental research in quantum, we also want to take that research today to our customers and actually help you solve these problems together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vivek. So floor is open for the questions. Any questions from the audience? Tom, there.
Hi, Sam Patanka, Relative Insight. The question is, obviously, Fujitsu is great at simulation. When IBM and other cohorts come along and they've got the real thing, how's Fujitsu going to cope?
So thanks for the question. I didn't say that we were just focusing on simulation. We are focused on basic quantum research with superconducting quantum, with diamond spin, with cold atom. And by the way, I don't believe any one of the big players is going to win this. You have players like Oxford Quantum Circuit, IQM in Finland. You have Kilimanjaro in Spain. You have a couple of companies in Japan. They are coming up with innovative technologies, right? So to us, it's not putting our eggs in one basket in terms of hardware quantum. But on top of that, software. To me, I think if a customer is vested with us or with any quantum simulator, it makes a logical step to go on, let's say, the 64-qubit quantum or 256-qubit quantum with us, or whoever, if our technology is good enough for them, that's what they'll choose. So I'm not too worried about, because we are working with on the basic quantum work as well. So I think that's pretty well, from our perspective, quite aligned.
Sure. Thank you.
Any other questions? I have a follow-up.
He's got a question.
Yes, while he gets the mic. I'm going to ask a question. Please follow up with that. Vivek, one question about the collaboration side. You mentioned earlier about your collaborations with different universities, different small companies to tackle different kind of projects as well. How do you see that internationally into sort of morphing away from what you're currently doing in terms of digital annealing and the software solutions into more hardware-driven solutions, maybe sort of pairing up with the international community too?
So let's step back a moment. If you look at the logical, quantum, and the technical landscape. You got digital annealer, which is not really quantum. It's a digital annealer.
Yeah.
Quantum simulator is also based on a A64FX chipset. Again, that's not quantum, and then you got the quantum. So we are invested in different sets at the platform level, but the big play is in the applications. And that's where we look at working with these startups. For example, the quantum simulator software is working with QLAX, which is a small software, freeware software set that was built jointly with us. So what we envision is we provide the platform, and you've got companies all across that are building these applications for third-party companies or the end users. To this effect, we launched the Quantum Simulator Challenge, which if anybody's interest is more than welcome to participate. We announced a price of $100,000 USD on that. We got an overwhelming response worldwide on this, right? Entries all across the world, exactly to address what you just talked about.
Okay, just thank you. Please.
It's Robert from NatWest. My question was very similar. I want to ask about digital annealers and how much focus you will still be having on digital annealers versus the quantum ones.
Digital annealer, to me, obviously, digital annealer is much more mature, if you will, as compared to the quantum technology, right? Now, there's a chipset, but there's also a lot of work on the software side of digital annealer, right? You can get it now to 100,000 bits on the digital annealing side. For example, we're trying to solve a problem in Singapore with a port. They've got AGVs, and that's the biggest port worldwide. So the problem with that is they built the system with another company, not with Fujitsu. When they get to 100 AGVs, these AGVs lock. So it's an optimization problem. And the solution for that is digital annealer. So we are focused on enhancing the different solutions of different applications around with digital annealer continuously. We do see a future for that.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions on the floor? All right, if no, then let's thank our speaker one more time.
Thank you.
Vivek.